This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf, and it is available in print in 14 states at your local cannabis retailer, and it's available digitally online at leafmagazines.com. My name's Mike Ricker, and I'm your host of Leaf Life, and my partner and co-host, Wes Abney, is here. He is also known as the mystical Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's AJOG.
Hola, aloha, OGs.
And Mary J. White.
Baked with love.
Welcome to the second half of this Leaf Life show called MOTOCROSS and Cannabis. In just a moment, we'll get into endurance through cannabinoids, and we'll spin AJ's wheel to see what products AJOG, our pinch hitter, is going to be substituting for Greg the Guinea Pig, who's Scott SERLES, the co-owner of PRC retail chain in Washington State, and the father of a newly turned professional motocross athlete. This shows Greg the Guinea Pig. We'd have him on, but he's only 19.
Oh my.
What she's going to be trying next. But first, it's time for Why Didn't I Think of That?
Why didn't I think of
Why didn't I think of that?
Wow, why didn't I think of that?
Because you were stoned.
Get some, Mary J. White.
Yeah. Well, I tell you guys, I honestly wish I had thought of this because these people are fucking brilliant. Because, I teach the cooking with cannabis and how to make all your things.
MaryJWhite.com. She's
That's
a famous
right.
cannabis chef, and she's got Everyday Mary J, a product here in Washington where you just add it. You add it to your food.
Everyday Mary J.
Yes.
We have the Granny Grams.
The Granny Grams.
Yeah, which are 4 joints in a cute little container.
Okay.
They have different herbal accents.
Wonderful.
And then we have my cooking weed, which shows people easy, simple, make your own shit. Here's the recipe. Do it yourself.
Make your own butter.
And oil and
Or
tinctures and glycerin, all the things.
And then add that to your food, and you've got infused
You've got
food.
happiness,
Cool.
and you didn't spend much money.
Okay, here we go.
But I do wish I thought of this because this is Moonwalker, okay? Ooh. And they have these gummies. Now, I love their marketing here. It's a tantalizing strawberry acai flavor.
Oh. Acai.
Acai. But what sets
Acai later.
Jesus God. What sets these gummies apart is not only their delicious flavor, but they use THCV. Now, the cannabinoid is known for its appetite-suppressing and energy-boosting properties. So they're selling these gummies basically as part of your wellness journey, right?
Okay.
Because they have not only the THCV, but they've got a whole bunch of apple cider vinegar in there. So
very
it
healthy.
tastes delicious, and they claim that it will help you be more perky and lose weight.
THCV has, not in a negative way, but been compared to Adderall. Kind of that high. And there's a company down in California called Happy Fruit that has a THCV product that I absolutely love.
Really?
I gobble those things up.
What does it do to you?
Edible.
Does it make you feel really good, really?
Absolutely, AJ.
Okay.
Try it for yourself. THCV is the new thing.
Yeah.
It's also known as diet weed
Yeah.
or the diet cannabinoid
Yeah.
because it does suppress appetite, which is not like weed.
Yeah.
Like every other
it
weed.
sure isn't. Yeah.
That's my problem. I want to smoke, and I just want to go to the cupboard and just go, next thing you know, I'm stepping on the scale and gain 5-8 pounds. Like
Overnight.
That's called middle age.
So check
Mary
out
J.
that
White.
THCV.
Yes, dear.
THCV. Thank you very
All
much
right.
for that
You're welcome.
informative.
Thank you.
Why didn't I think of that?
Thank you. You're
AJ,
welcome.
spin that wheel. Let's go. Get stoned, sister.
All right, let's go, y'all. Oh, can you light that up for me, Lorax?
The Bearded
Let's
Lorax.
go. I'm excited.
Assisting.
All right, so we've got candy. This is live resin diamonds.
Yeah, there it is.
Yum.
beautiful.
And this
Heat it up,
is
Wes.
blue Razz. The scent, the nose on it is very pungent, y'all. I am a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
You can
Nervous.
smell that blue Razz
I'm
coming out
nervous.
strong.
I'm
It's good.
nervous.
Are you going to get goofy?
Oh, AJ, you don't usually do dabs. You're just a flower smoker, right?
I like my flower in my bong, yes.
So does everyone
I'm not
listening
too-
give AJ a pass if she gets too high?
Yes.
Oh, that was a huge collective. Yes,
Yes.
AJ. Did you hear
Yes.
that?
absolutely.
Holy international international.
We're
By the
here
way,
for you.
We are downloaded in 47 countries across the globe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people love us everywhere, Mary. Come on.
47
Well, they love
countries.
you, not Wes and me as much.
Well, you're
but,
right.
And AJ.
Yeah, AJ and me, we're kind of the draw here.
It smells like an outer pop. It's so good.
Yeah, blue raspberry otter pop.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
When I open
Everyone's
that
getting
thing,
high.
Yeah, that's
Everyone's
why
about
we're
to
here.
get high
I just
right
wanna
now,
eat it.
y'all.
Yeah, it's kind of like an air freshener. Like,
Yeah.
if you walked in and smelled that, you would not assume someone was getting high.
No, not at all.
Very
That's-
true.
That's
I
the
don't
best
know if
part
I
about
like
the
that,
dabs.
but we will just say it's very fragrant. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Mahalo.
All right, candy dabs.
You know, we got to remember when you're standing in line to pick up the kids, you don't want to hit your rosin pen because you will smell like a skunk.
Yeah.
But if you hit a little pen that smells like cotton candy or blue raspberry,
perfectly
they
fine.
just think you're a nicotine addict.
Yeah,
and,
it's
you
no
know,
big
they
deal.
ignore you.
Truth. Truth.
Or you just left the fair, maybe. I don't know, some cotton
Different
candy.
kinds,
Right?
different kinds of cannabis delivery for different reasons, y'all.
If you just
Exactly.
left the fair, you would smell like a deep fried Milky Way bar.
Oh, God.
So Scott talked about middle age and getting older and putting on 5 pounds when you eat too much. As a former or still a motocross expert as yourself who grew up doing the sport, it's tough to maintain that body type and that level of endurance. And endurance through cannabinoids, they can definitely help because you've broken a lot of fucking bones in your life and it's a wear on the joints and the muscles.
Absolutely. I mean, that was one of the things that kind of took me out of motocross, honestly, was just my joint. As you can see, my wrist, it doesn't really bend. That's
Oh,
about
my.
it that I got my range of motion there. But
Caught yourself falling a few times,
yeah,
haven't you?
I broke 17 bones and ruptured my spleen, trying to be a professional athlete and just,
friend.
and I had a lot of friends that just got hooked on cannabinoids and, I just kind of watched them. On opiates.
Opiates.
On opiates.
Oh.
And so
I
I
was
watched
confused.
watched them go down that route. And for me, I've leaned towards cannabis more for my aches and pains and, just to kind of get through it. And
Yes.
that just kind of what led me into, the medical side of it and starting, my dispensary with Joel. And, one thing led to another, 12 years later, here we are. So,
Well, any sport that has that high level of physical contact, which could include like collegiate level soccer
Yes.
or wrestling or, I did
Football.
tennis, tennis elbow, like is so yeah, people always make fun of tennis players, but there are a lot of sports, MMA,
yes.
motocross, where you're breaking bones or tearing things. And the doctors will just be like, especially 15, 20 years ago,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
how many oxys do you want? Would you like some perks and some Vicodin to help,
Crazy, man.
round it all out?
Crazy.
And that doesn't help you heal.
Nope.
And it masks the pain.
Yep.
And it kind of locks you up even more. And,
And
so
it
you can
breaks down
get
the
in a
body.
cycle.
Yeah.
Of like getting hurt and then going on painkillers and then getting hurt again. And cannabis is regenerative.
Yes.
And it allows you to deal with the
incredible.
pain without the addictive properties. And so you can use it also in different, applications as a topical.
Totally.
You can eat it as edibles.
Yeah.
Those are great for pain. Today we have transdermal patches.
You can have a full entourage effect, not just the entourage effect of the plant.
It's funny for me.
But
It was like I called it my medicine cabinet. It's like same deal with cannabis, right? You got, like you said, you got your lotions, you got your capsules, you got your different edibles and so forth. Like, well, when you go to your medicine cabinet, you just don't got your Advil in there, right? It's not going to cure everything. You got your stuff for if you got stomach issues, so you got multiple different things. And so I look at cannabis that way as well. It definitely has so many different products available, especially even if you don't want to smoke, right? There's still a lot of things available to be able to help, heal the body and, that
Totally.
regenerative side of things and, not get you hooked on something that's just going to break your body down, right? So,
And a lot of sports don't allow that,
Yeah, which
still.
is so.
including MMA. They will let you use CBD,
Oh,
but THC and the entourage effect, like you said, AJ, that's the full spectrum
Yeah.
of cannabinoids and terpenes that helps. And when you're talking about recovery, it is a huge difference between recovering with cannabis or without.
My goodness.
And it is so silly to me that we're still denying
Yeah.
athletes from
Yeah.
that. And we're post opioid epidemic. We're in the
Right.
fentanyl
Right.
Yeah.
grips of that now. But now if you get hurt, or I was in a bad car accident about a year ago, you go to the doctor for opiates when you need them. And they
Right.
don't even want to give them to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you break your leg that first day or that first week, you need opiates. There are times and places where opiates or other pharmaceuticals are very helpful.
100%
in
after
extreme
surgery.
pain.
Yeah.
But
Certain
then you have
things,
to
yeah.
exit from those
Yes.
in a safe enough timeline, and cannabis is that perfect exit drug.
Yeah,
for
and
people.
for me,
Right.
that was one of the main things. Even like I was just kind of starting the dispensary with Joel back in like 2012, 2013, kind of when we were doing our thing.
By
And,
the way, Joel is on next week's show, Auto Racing and Cannabis. I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
Awesome.
But go on.
yeah, he's a good guy, and so him and I just kind of knew each other through real estate, and one thing led to another. We hooked up to get our dispensary going. But either way, like when I was just first getting into it, the cannabinoids definitely helped me. I broke my femur and I broke my eye socket in 3 spots.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Threw my helmet, knocked myself out. Had to go have surgery, all this stuff. And like I checked myself out of the hospital the next day. I was and then I was on my own, right? And so what did I use to help manage that pain? Cannabis. Cannabis definitely got me through it. And that was one of the first times in my life that I hadn't used opiates to, after a broken bone. And it felt so good to just have that rejuvenation and still have my body, and just be able to feel good and not have this, leg from all the, prescription drugs and so forth. And that's when I knew that it could be very, beneficial, not only for me, for many other, clinical, issues that people have as well, right? But the medicinal value of the cannabis plant is something I am strongly an advocate for. I would much rather, even my own kids, I'd rather see them use cannabis than alcohol, and prescription drugs. And so, even though with my son, underage, but I've used topicals. He's used topicals.
Totally.
There's a couple times to where, he took a handlebar to the thigh, and he literally so. Anyways, we go to sleep for the night. And I go into his room and I can hear him just like kind of moaning and groaning. I'm like, what's going on, bud? And he's like, he was trying to get up to go to the bathroom and he couldn't. He couldn't even get up. So at that point, I thought his leg was broken, right? And so I'm like, so I literally carried him to the bathroom because he had a huge hematoma on his thigh and he couldn't even move. And so anyways,
Sign of a break.
I put this lotion on, I put this topical on him and I give him this topical and I'm like, okay, we'll be fine. You'll be all right. And so a couple hours go by and, he's feeling better or whatever. And he comes back up to me and he's like, hey, Dad, you got some more of that topical? I'm like, well, yeah, why? Is it working for you? He's like, yeah, it feels good. It's helping my leg a lot. I can't feel the pain nearly as much. And, and he was like 12 years old, right? And so
topicals are amazing.
Oh, man, it was so cool to be able to have that experience with him because, honestly, I didn't tell him what it was or what was in it, right? And just because, I'm not an advocate for youth, using cannabis and so forth, but definitely there is some situations where it could be hugely beneficial. Like I said, I'd rather see him use that than prescription drugs or something of that nature.
Topicals are like the most beneficial entry level product. If anybody's ever curious, I think topicals are the way to go all the way for your granny, for the children. And also like, I want to speak to the fact that like you're talking about using cannabis for recovery.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think that it's important to know that this sport is already dangerous. So
we're definitely not talking about using cannabis before we're hopping on a motorcycle.
Exactly.
That's not the case
Good
at all.
disclaimer.
We're not advocating for any drug use when operating machinery because it is dangerous. But for recovery,
it's so good.
Cannabis can be a fucking great tool. So
Absolutely.
it's a great entry level. Way to get into cannabis with topicals because it's non-psychoactive.
And that's the best part about it.
All right, bro. Hey, now it's time for you to play Tanzania or Tasmania.
It's time to play Tanzania or Tasmania. Here's Ricker.
Right up your alley, right, Scott?
I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, brother. You're a geography whiz. Let's go.
Didgeridoo is hitting.
It is.
The didgeridoo.
So on the heels of the massive international success of the games Serbia or Siberia, Australia or Austria, Colombia or Cambodia, and of course, salmon or salamander.
I love that one.
The franchise continues with more mind-bending pronunciations. Scott, Tanzania or Tasmania? Number 1, here we go. In 2022, this country exported $43 million in cloves, making it the 3rd largest exporter of cloves in the world. Tanzania or Tasmania?
Tasmania.
Mary's trying to cheat.
Tasmania.
That's incorrect. That's what you get for cheating, brother. It's Tanzania.
I see how it is. I didn't even know either one of those exist.
Cloves, either country.
So American of you.
Cloves make up 90% of global spice exports coming out of Tanzania. 90% of that.
Wow.
I was thinking Tasmanian devil when you're saying that. I don't
Go
know.
easy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, number 2. This country gained its independence from the United Kingdom in 1963 and then united with a neighboring country a year later in 1964 to become what it is today. Tanzania or Tasmania?
Tanzania.
He's right. AJ.
Had a lifeline.
Well, it's a tough one because Tasmania is part of Australia. And it, kind of combined with Australia. So that's a toughie, bro.
It was.
Nice work, brother. All right, number 3.
I know a little bit about African history.
This country is home to a carnivorous marsupial that eats birds, snakes, and other mammals up to the size of small kangaroos. They're also scavengers who eat everything, even bones and fur. Just to make this clear, the fact that this also applies to a bearded lorax is obvious. But this game is called Tanzania or Tasmania, not Washington or Washington, D.C.
It's got to be Tasmania.
It's correct.
Yay! You're so smart.
Hey, 2 out of 3. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a song by the 2 out of 3 ain't bad? Back in like the 80s, I think that was Meatloaf, right?
I
You don't fucking
You know, you're the radio guy.
That's right, brother.
Yeah, it's true. He is the radio man.
Hey, Scott, where can we find you on social media?
Well, social media, just through my businesses of PRC at Arlington, PRC Edmonds, PRC Conway.
Do you have a personal one or for, your motocross?
Me, not really. No, I don't do that.
Where can people find your kid?
He's tank.serles51.
CERLES.
SERLES.
Oh, it's an S.
S. Yeah.
My bad.
Oh.
Tanzania or Tasmania?
Oh. Tank.serles. It's SERLES 51. That's his
All right.
Instagram.
Thank you so much for being on the Leaf Life podcast, Scott.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, next week, like I said earlier, Wes, auto racing and cannabis.
I'm ready for that Circle 8.
Yeah.
Keep the motorsports going. Download this and all Leaf Life episodes at leafmagazines.com. And please subscribe on YouTube at Leaf Life Podcast V2. Now get ready for another episode of Stony Baloney, which is also available at leafmagazines.com. And Mary J. White?
Yes, sir.
We forgot to do one thing.
What's that?
The Tasmanian devil.
You're so fucking weird.
And please be kind to animals, including Tasmanian devils.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies. Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Maryland Leaf, Amsterdam Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer. Now, please stay tuned for this week's edition of Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
Know yourself. No one wants to be lonely. Human beings need social interaction, which explains why the smartphone is truly your bestie. Because it will always respond to you brightly, saturating your glowing face with reverence. Even at your most compromised moments when the eyes are drooping and the teeth need brushing, it worships your existence with unflappable consistency. That is real love, baby. And it can never abandon you because you own it. But really, who owns who? Because that adoration can be a dangerous substitute in fulfilling the need for attention. You see, as these fascinating technologies allow us to communicate and coordinate with more and more people profiles across the globe, what suffers is our real need for tangible human connection. So, if the desired outcome from opening your smartphone is one that does not bring you joy and contentment, yet you continue to engage in the process knowing fully well that the odds of an ultimately negative experience are more than likely, the device has control of you. And this lack of real satisfaction can cause angst. A society filled with angst, as we know through history, results in division. And division creates instability. Instability results in violence. Violence equates to destruction. And generally, when war does break out, the first thing to get targeted is communication towers, which means your Wi-Fi goes sayonara, immediately deeming your source of depression, anxiety, and loneliness inoperable, which could be the best thing that ever happened to humanity. So continue to use your smartphone. You're doing a great thing. You know, we don't really own anything. Ownership is merely a concept. Like currency, we merely hold the paper for a short time before transferring it into another person's possession. And if being happy is your goal in life, use cannabis. It will also saturate your face with reverence.
Stony Baloney. Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker and Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming.
Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment.
Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products.
For use by adults 21 and older.
Keep out of the reach of children.